Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Would the committee secretary please call the roll?
Assembly members Backus. Brown May. Here. Carter. Present. Dickman. Gallant. Here. Gurr. Here. Karas. Here. Moore. Here. Wynn. Urick. Here. Chair Watts.
I'm here. Thank you. We do have a quorum. Please mark Assembly members Wynn and Dickman present when they arrive. Correction. Mark Assembly member Dickman present now. Members, we have 3 bills on our work session today, and we have 3 bills that we're going to be hearing. Just for everyone's information, I think we're going to do our work session first. Then we will hear Assembly Bill 530, followed by Assembly Bill 527, and finally Assembly Joint Resolution number 13. A few housekeeping items before we get started. If you plan to speak, please sign in at the table in the back. If you have a business card, please provide one to our committee staff. That helps ensure that we get your name and information correct in our meeting minutes. If you are speaking in person, please turn on the microphone before you speak. State your name for the record. Please spell it for us if we do not have a business card so we can get those minutes correct. And then turn your microphone off when you're done, and always remember to state your name for the record every time before you speak. If you would like to provide either testimony or public comment via phone, you can dial 888-475-4499, and when prompted for the meeting ID, enter 850-148-34501, and then press pound. You can find that information on our agendas, which are also posted on the Nevada Legislature's website. I believe that takes care of all our housekeeping items, so we will begin with our work session. And I will turn it over to our committee policy analyst, Ms. Latham, to walk us through the work session document.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, Keely Latham, Policy Analyst with the Legislative Council Bureau. A reminder that as nonpartisan staff, I cannot advocate for or against any measure that this committee will consider. Assembly Bill 110 revises provisions relating to the designation of certain highways. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Gallant and was heard in this committee on March 13th. Assembly Bill 110 designates State Route 163 within Nevada as the Colorado River Highway and the bridge connecting State Route 163 with Bullhead City, Arizona as the Donald J. Laughlin Memorial Bridge. The bill requires the Director of Nevada's Department of Transportation to place suitable markers along the highway and bridge at locations deemed appropriate. There is one proposed amendment by Assemblymember Gallant to add Senator Stone as a primary joint sponsor of the bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, are there any questions on Assembly Bill 110? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to amend and do pass AB 110.
So moved.
All right, I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter, a second from everybody. But I'll go ahead and give that to Assemblymember Gurr. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries, and I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to Assembly Bill 409.
Keely Latham with LCB for the record. Assembly Bill 409 revises provisions relating to special license plates. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Hafen and others and was heard in this committee on March 18th. Assembly Bill 409 requires the DMV to issue special license plates for the support of outreach programs and services for veterans and their families to veterans of the United States Space Force or their spouses, parents, or children. Additionally, the bill allows a person who is issued a special license plate that indicates that the person is a family member of a veteran who was killed in the line of duty or who died as a result of injuries sustained while on active duty to combine those special license plates with personalized prestige plates, provided that the person pays the fees for the personalized plates. An amendment was proposed by Assemblymember Hafen, which requires the DMV to issue license plates honoring veterans of the Armed Forces of the United States who have been awarded the Air Force Cross, Coast Guard Cross, Distinguished Service Cross, or Navy Cross, and also adds Assemblymember Gray as a primary sponsor of the bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions on Assembly Bill 409? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to amend
So
and do
moved.
pass AB 409. I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter. I have a second from Assembly Member Backus. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. And I will assign that floor statement to the Minority Leader, Mr. Hafen. We'll move on to Assembly, the last item on our work session for today, which is Assembly Bill 417.
Keely Latham with LCB for the record. Assembly Bill 417 revises provisions relating to public safety. The bill is sponsored by Assemblymember Hunt and was heard in this committee on March 20th. Assembly Bill 417 requires peace officers to inspect vehicles that are suspected to be involved in unauthorized speed contests or trick driving displays, if there's reasonable cause to believe that they have equipment violations or are unsafe. Peace officers may issue citations for violations, which must be reported to the DMV within 5 days. Peace officers or DMV inspectors must follow a similar process and inspect court-impounded vehicles used in related offenses, with courts forwarding impoundment orders and vehicle details to the DMV within 5 days. The DMV must rescind and cancel vehicle registration for cited violations unless the owner proves correction within 30 days. Assemblymember Hunt proposed the attached conceptual amendment, which requires the DMV to cancel any registration resulting from a court-issued impoundment order pending a vehicle safety inspection, removes the requirement for a peace officer or DMV inspector to conduct a vehicle inspection at the place of impoundment, requires a court that orders the impoundment of a vehicle due to a related violation to include, with the impoundment order that is forwarded to the DMV, a notice stating that the DMV is required to cancel the registration of that vehicle pending a vehicle safety inspection. And finally, authorizes the DMV to grant an extension of up to 60 days if an owner is unable to correct a citation within 30 days and certain criteria are met. Additionally, the amendment adds a bill co-sponsor. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions on Assembly Bill 417? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to amend and do pass.
So moved.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter. Do I have a second? Second from Assemblymember Moore. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. And I will assign that floor statement to Assemblymember Hunt. Okay, members, that does conclude our work session for the day. Before I hand the gavel over to the Vice Chair, I know that we have packed rooms both here in Carson City and in Las Vegas. I just want to note for all of the bills that we're going to be hearing today, ask all presenters, including myself, to be as succinct as possible. We want to make sure that we fully hear and vet the issues before us, but particularly when we're hearing testimony, feel free to say ditto if the points that have already been stated by others have been put on the record. So we just want to make sure that we're able to take care of all the business before us today and ask everyone to be mutually respectful of the time that we have, because we have another set of committees that are going to be meeting later on in the afternoon. And just ask again that members also be particularly thoughtful with questions, and if there are some additional issues, being able to take some of those offline for follow-up as needed. So I think that covers everything for now. So I'll pass the gavel over to Vice Chair Carter.
Thank you very much. I hope that I'm not the center of entertainment today like I was Tuesday. Voice is much better. So now we're going to hear Assembly Bill 530, which revises provisions relating to the imposition by certain counties of additional taxes on fuel for motor vehicles. Chair Watts, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Carter, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Howard Watts, representing Assembly District 15, and it is my pleasure to present Assembly Bill 530 for your consideration today. AB 530 seeks to allow an extension of Clark County's fuel revenue indexing for a period of up to 10 years. I am joined by representatives from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. After I finish my brief introduction, they're going to provide some additional background as well as walk through the language of the bill and an amendment that has also been provided. I just want to make a few notes. This has been a priority for leaders throughout the Southern Nevada community. In fact, it was designated as a priority issue by the Southern Nevada Forum, the broad stakeholder group that is convened by the Vegas Chamber. But it is not just a Southern Nevada issue. This has ripple effects across the entire state. FRI, since it's been enacted, has supported more than 700 projects across the Southern Nevada community. And we need to make sure that we're able to continue providing those resources to help meet our transportation needs. And I know this has been, for those of you who serve on the budget committees, particularly those associated with transportation, you have heard about the resource challenges that we are facing when it comes to supporting transportation projects and infrastructure across our state. And that is happening at both the state and local levels. This is a critical piece of helping address that issue by mitigating some of the impact that we see due to inflation and the constantly rising cost of, well, pretty much everything. Fuel revenue indexing helps us address that and continue to get transportation projects built in our communities. That also takes pressure off and allows us to make sure that we're getting dollars to support our public transit services as well. And FRI also benefits the Department of Transportation. Those dollars have to go to projects in Clark County, but again, that helps free up resources to support transportation projects across the state. So while there are bigger picture issues and more structural fixes that are needed to transportation funding across our state, to me, FRI is a critical piece of that and one that we have to maintain in order to provide a vibrant and accessible community, again, both for Southern Nevada as well as residents all across the state. So with that, I will turn it over to Ms. Maynard.
Thank you, Chairman Watts. Where'd he go? Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Watts. And thank you, Vice Chair Carter and members of this committee. My name is MJ Maynard Carey. That's MJ, MAYNARD CAREY. I'm joined today by David Swallow. To my left, he's the Deputy CEO of the RTC. And to my right, Kelsey Hardy, who is our RTC's external counsel. Again, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Today, we're going to provide a very brief overview of the ongoing roadway funding efforts and challenges in Southern Nevada and introduce Assembly Bill 530, which aims to continue the fuel revenue indexing program known as FRI to secure sustained investment for our transportation in Southern Nevada. So currently Southern, I think many of you have seen this slide, currently Southern Nevada roadway is derived from, as you can see on this slide here, motor vehicle fuel tax, sales tax, and fuel revenue indexing. All of these revenues combined help not only the RTC and our regional role, but certainly NDOT, Clark County, and all the cities, City of Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson, Mesquite, and Boulder City, to move forward again with the planning, design, and construction and maintenance of transportation projects that benefit the millions of folks that live in Southern Nevada and also visit Southern Nevada. From these three funding sources, most revenue comes from fuel taxes. As you can see on the slide, the following is a breakdown of what is collected from fuel taxes. The RTC currently receives just 24.6 cents of the 75 cents collected per gallon. And of that 24.6 cents, 15.6 cents is generated from FRI, which has had a critical impact for Southern Nevada. And that 15.6 cents, that's the culmination of that indexing over the last 10 years. So before going into more detail regarding the impact of FRI, I do want to provide some history of the program. Originally authorized in 2013 by bipartisan legislation signed by Governor Brian Sandoval and then approved by the Clark County Board of Commissioners, FRI allowed fuel tax indexing from January 1st, 2014 to December 31st, 2016. In November of 2016, Clark County voters approved question number 5 and continuing FRI through December 31st, 2026. Clark County, however, is not the only county that indexes that fuel tax to inflation. Washoe County also has its own fuel indexing program. Clark County's FRI differs from Washoe County's fuel tax indexing program in that Clark County's FRI program is capped by the county at 4 cents per gallon annually and can only continue for an authorized period of time. To provide some context, over the last 10 years, the FRI, the impact has been about 1.4 cents annually that we've seen. While Washoe County's fuel tax indexing program lacks a specific county cap on annual increases and operates without a set expiration date. This is an important slide. If you look here, the blue bars represent the 9 cents, the motor vehicle fuel tax that we were collecting and provided again for all the jurisdictions in Southern Nevada for roadway infrastructure. The orange bars represent the fuel revenue indexing program. Had we not indexed fuel tax to inflation, which has generated more than $1 billion, the fuel tax would have remained flat, stagnant, and in some cases you'd see a decline. So it's been consequential to Southern Nevada. I'm going to turn this over very briefly. David Swallow and his team oversee the fuel revenue indexing program on behalf of the RTC. Dave?
Yeah, what we see here to date, since we initiated FRI, we have started 702 projects. Of those, 501 of those projects have been completed. 105 of those are in construction, another 96 in design. And then the RTC does have a capital improvement program right now valued at about $1.9 billion.
Excuse me, sir, could you turn on your microphone?
I apologize. Thank you, Vice Chair. So currently, the RTC's 10-year capital improvement program is valued at about $1.9 billion, with 277 more projects still to come.
And this next slide is really just a visualization of the impact of the program. As you can see.
State your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, MJ May for the record, MJ Maynard Carey for the record. As you can see, this slide just is, again, a visual representation of the significance of the program and the fact that it's really touched every corner of Clark County. So this slide, again, is an important slide. You've seen this before, many of you. That represents the cash balance in the roadway program. The bars on the left represent revenue, the bars on the right represent expenditures. It's the gray shadowed area in the back that represents the most important piece, and that's the cash available. And that includes what we know today and what we believe we'll be able to bond against. If you see that spike in fiscal 27, we believe that'll be the opportunity, one of the last opportunities to bond for the program. And so the trajectory of that cash balance, as you can see, declines quite drastically. So, but by the end of the capital improvement program, the funding is not where we want it to be. It's below the line, if you will. And so today, the jurisdictions, on average, between Clark County and all the local jurisdictions, they're spending about $300 million annually on roadway infrastructure projects, and that is because of the indexing program. If the indexing program discontinues in 2026, they'll have about $100 million to spend annually against, and they'd share that amongst themselves. Without FRI, roadway funding would not keep pace with inflation, diminishing our ability to maintain these valuable infrastructure investments and to fund additional roadway projects needed for our growing region. This problem would be compounded by the decline in taxable gallons of fuel sold, resulting from the increase, and again, in more fuel-efficient vehicles and the adoption of electric vehicles, which further jeopardizes the available funding and availability for projects in Southern Nevada. So we have the capital improvement program. We also asked the jurisdictions, if funding were available today, are there other projects that you would find consequential and important for your jurisdictions? And the answer was yes. They let us know that there's 179 projects today that if funding were available, they would implement. These 179 projects represent about $2.7 billion in projects, again, deemed essential by our jurisdictions, but the funding is not available. And I think it's significant in the fact that we, again, as a state, we want to diversify our economy. And so those areas have been identified for that further economic growth. Today have no funding identified, transportation infrastructure funding available or identified, and that includes the Apex area, fully built out, El Dorado Valley, Ivanpah Valley, Sloan, and the Southern Nevada Supplemental Airport. And so understanding the significant roadway funding challenge Southern Nevada would face without FRI, we consulted and worked with our board and community stakeholders to identify solutions. Although no one solution will solve all roadway funding challenges in the long term, the top priority identified by community stakeholders and the RTC board is continuing FRI. The Transportation Resource Advisory Committee, known as TRAC, it's a 30-plus member, it's consortium of businesses, chambers of commerce, and labor groups. They passed a resolution in December 2024 endorsing an FR continuation. Southern Nevada Forum, again, a coalition sponsored by the Vegas Chamber and made up of legislators, local officials, and business leaders, supported continuing FRI ahead of the 2025 session. And then Clark County, Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, Mesquite, and Boulder City all adopted resolutions urging the Nevada Legislature to continue FRI. Based on FRI's importance to funding critical infrastructure projects and the broad support in Southern Nevada for continuing it, we have worked with Chairman Watts to introduce AB 530 to help continue FRI. And so thank you for giving us an opportunity to present our priorities for this session, and we would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from members? Assemblymember Wynn.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and I'm glad you have your voice back, a little bit of it. It's really neat to see that there's a large project number up there, 179, that's a lot. I'm just kind of curious, Ms. Maynard Carey, and congratulations on the hyphenation. What other state do when they do fund their roadways? Can you give us examples for that?
MJ Maynard Carey for the record. So, every state really is unique in how they fund their roadway infrastructure. Some states have what I like to call a diversified funding approach. In other words, they have multiple funding buckets dedicated to their transportation infrastructure. In some cases, it is motor vehicle fuel tax, of course, sales tax, it could be an EV fee, registration fee, an auto sales related sales tax, things of that nature. But, for us, the RTC, we're recommending the continuation of the FRI program as it has a direct nexus to funding roadway infrastructure, not only maintaining it, but again, the ability to go out and expand and improve the infrastructure program. But it also maintains a very sustainable funding source in the face of inflation.
Quick follow-up, Vice Chair? Yes, sir. Thank you. So just want to make sure that we put this clear on the record for us to be able to execute all of these priorities and making sure that, there's just so much that we have going on right now that the FRI is the most viable option right now to answer all these needs.
MJ Maynard Carey for the record, that would be correct.
Great. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Committee, any other questions? Assemblymember Brown May.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you. I just want to make sure that I'm clear. As I read the ordinances, I'm on page 7. It says the board authorizing effectuation of the annual increases. We're referring to boards of county commissioners. Is that correct?
Hi, Kelsey Hardy, CELSSIE for the record. Thank you for the question, Assemblymember Brown May. This would refers only to the Clark County Board of Commissioners.
Any other questions? Very good. We're going to move into public testimony, and as everybody can see, we got a pretty full house. So we're going to ask to keep it tight, 2 minutes. We're going to use the timer. And as I see the rush coming up, could I ask for everybody in support, both up north or up here and down south to please stand up so we can get an idea? Okay, very good. And we see that preponderance of the evidence shows that we're mostly on this, so thank you very much. Please sit down. And that makes it very imperative that we keep testimony tight, and please feel free to say ditto. And with that, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Warren Hardy here today on behalf of the Nevada Urban Consortium, but also as the chairman of the TRAC Committee, Transportation Resource Advisory Committee. I've been challenged by people who don't know me very well to keep it to 1 minute, so I'm going to endeavor to do that. With me is Danny Thompson. When I took the responsibility as chair of TRAC, I said I'll do it under one condition, and that is if Danny's my vice chair, because we've worked together for years on these issues. I will just say this in order to keep it under 1 minute. We have looked at every aspect of this as a TRAC committee, which is a group of citizens that's gotten together to review these. We made a series of recommendations in December, but what I'll tell you, Mr. Vice Chair, is that Fry is the cornerstone of that. That is the threshold issue. If we are not able to extend Fry, we can fold our tent and go home on a whole bunch of issues related to transportation in Southern Nevada. I've been known to say this is existential, and I will stand by that. This is an existential issue. I almost made it, Mr. Chair.
Afternoon, Vice Chair Carter, members of the committee. For the record, Danny Thompson. And like Warren said, I did serve as the vice chair of the TRAC committee. We literally studied this problem for years, the whole group. Assemblymember Wen served on that committee as well. And I can tell you that this is probably the most important bill to Southern Nevada of this session. It's critical that this bill passes for the infrastructure that we have, not just the infrastructure we're planning, but the current infrastructure to maintain that. And so I'd urge you, yes vote. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. For the record, Thomas Morley, THOMAS MORLEY, representing Laborers Local 872, Laborers Local 169, Teamsters Local 631, and the Communication Workers of America, and we support this.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Ronald Young. I represent the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 357. Excuse me. This AB 530 is a transformative bill that can help continue multi-generational tradespeople coming up. It's essential to maintain this level of funding so that we can continue projects. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Ann Barnett, CEO of the Nevada Contractors Association, representing the construction industry in Southern Nevada. We are in strong support of AB 530. Fuel revenue indexing has been critical to keeping Southern Nevada's construction industry moving. It has supported, as you've seen, more than 700 roadway projects, created over 20,000 jobs, and strengthened over 78 local small businesses. Allowing this funding to expire would be devastating, to say the least. Funding would drop from $300 million to just $100 million per year. That would lead to canceled projects, job losses, and most importantly, setbacks to public safety and mobility. AB 530 extends to a proven tool that's already delivering results, and thanks to FRI, Nevada consistently ranks among the top 10 states for best maintained roads. This bill is simply about protecting long-term investments that keep our infrastructure strong, our economy growing, and our workers employed. AB 530 is essential to keep Nevada moving. We respectfully urge your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Vice Chair. Andy Donahue, Labor Employers Cooperation and Education Trust. Glad to support the bill for many of the reasons you've already heard.
Honorable Vice Chair and Committee, my name is Wendy Colborn, COLBORNE, Chief of Staff for the Building and Construction Trades Council of Northern Nevada, and we are also in strong support of this bill. It's not often you'll see me and Warren Hardy on the same side of a bill at the same table, and this is one, it's that imperative. So we urge you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Alexis Motorex with the Nevada Chapter Associated General Contractors, here too in strong support of AB 530. This isn't just about Southern Nevada, but NDOT losing their portion of this revenue would have a detrimental impact on the rest of the state. We urge your support. Thank you. Good afternoon, Nicole Rourke, representing the city of Henderson, here in strong support of AB 530. Henderson is one of the fastest growing cities in Nevada, and continued investment in transportation infrastructure is essential to supporting and expanding our population and economy. Over the past 5 years, we've received nearly $171 million to construct 43 roadway projects that include safety improvements, arterial reconstructions, interchanges, bus turnouts, access roads, and more. Without FRI, this critical infrastructure could face delays impacting economic development and quality of life for our residents. So we strongly support FRI extension, and thank you very much.
Good afternoon, co-chair and committee members. My name is Omar Alvarez, O-M-A-R-A-L-V-A-R-E-Z. I am a representative with Liona Local 169, and we are in strong support of this bill. Thank you.
Hello, members of the committee. My name is Ashley Kennedy, representing Clark County, testifying in support to Assembly Bill 530, and I'll just ditto everything else that's been said. Thank you.
Hello, Leonardo Benavides with UNLV, also here in strong support of SB 530. We thank RTC for the continued partnership. Thank you very much.
For the record, my name is Ryan McInerney, and I'm here today on behalf of Nevada State University. We are also in support of AB 530. Funding from FRI is critical in supporting major road projects and studies that directly impact the transportation needs for Nevada State, both at our main campus and our future satellite campus in North Las Vegas. Discontinuing FRI would jeopardize these critical infrastructure projects and our ability to meet higher education needs and workforce development needs in Southern Nevada. Thank you.
Matt Walker on behalf of Howard Hughes. We also want to add our support and just say that this is a predictable bipartisan solution in an atmosphere where business needs more predictability, more bipartisan solutions, and more infrastructure funding. I'll additionally add that as a member of the Transportation Resource Advisory Committee for almost a decade, the RCC does an excellent job of continuing to reach out to the business community and seek additional options and solutions that can be analyzed, and the result is the bill before you today, and we're appreciative of the process as well.
I'm Cindy Dudley. I'm here representing the Nevada branch of the American Council of Engineering Companies, ACEC. ACEC represents 50 engineering companies in the state, employing over 1,800 engineers and staff. I think we'd just like to urge you to support AB 530. Thank you.
Stacy Lindberg, CNS Company, Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm in support of 530, and when we talk about actually how this has worked in the past, when you talk about the small businesses that you've put to work and the DB businesses that you put to work, I'm one. I don't know the other 100, but I can tell you right now I'm one. And 70% of the work that I've had in the last 4 years has been through the FRI. So the 50 guys that go to work in good paying jobs, these are the things that keep us working as a small business. And it's been a wonderful program for us in support of AB 530.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Paige Barnes with the Ferrado Company. Here today on behalf of Granite Construction, we are here in support of AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Wesley Harper. I am the Director of Government Affairs for the City of North Las Vegas. We are in strong support of RTC's bill, AB 530. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Hillerby on behalf of the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County. Here in support of the bill, we've seen firsthand the positive economic impacts of the jobs, as well as the positive impact on both the economy and the transportation system of having a robust transportation system and ability to build and maintain it. We hope the same things for our colleagues and friends in Southern Nevada. Thank you.
Chair, members of the committee, my name is Tomas Hammond, T-O-M-A-S-H-A-M-M-O-N-D, here with Carrera Nevada on behalf of LVGEA, and we ditto all the comments that have been said. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Paul Enos. I'm the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association, here today in support of Assembly Bill 530. And the trucking industry in the state of Nevada pays about 40% of all the revenue that goes into our highway fund. We do think that fuel taxes is the best, most efficient way to collect that dollar to pay for our roads. It costs less than 1 cent for the state to collect it. So it's a very economical way to do it, and we appreciate the sponsor bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is anybody else in support here in Carson City? None appearing, we'll drop down to Las Vegas. Please proceed. 2 minutes.
Thank you, Vice Chair Carter, union brother. Vince Saavedra for the record. Vince, V-I-N-C-E, Saavedra, S-A-A-V-E-D-R-A. I am the Executive Secretary Treasurer to the Southern Nevada Building and Construction Trades, representing over 19 unions of Nevada's hardest working, skilled and trained workforce. Thank everyone for coming together on this. I think this is great, coming together to support prevailing wage jobs is a big deal. That's what FRI does. It's not often that we see, everyone who came to the table support on the same side. I think it's fair to say that this is great for Nevada. The Fuel Revenue Index is critical for Nevada's construction workers and the state of Nevada. This ensures funding for essential roadway projects, creating a lot of jobs in the process. These projects improve road safety, reducing congestion, and enhances overall quality of Nevadans' lives. For the construction workers, which I represent, this translates to steady employment opportunities and a robust infrastructure that supports local economy with good paying jobs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Vice Chairman and members of the committee. I'm honored to participate in the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. My name is Lou DeSalvio, and I represent Labor's Local 872 and serve as a member on the RTC Southern Nevada Transportation Resource Advisory Committee, known as TRAC. I appreciate the opportunity to testify to support the Assembly Bill, AB 530, and to the highlights that significantly impact the Fuel Revenue Index, known as FRI, programs on Nevada workforce. Infrastructure projects funded by FRI provide thousands of well-paying jobs for the middle class and construction workers and laborers in our community. These projects not only ensure job stability for our members, but also play a crucial role in training the next generation of skilled workforce through apprenticeship and workforce development programs. A lapse in funding could result in job losses, project delays, and negativity affecting both Nevada workers and the state's overall economy. The continuation of FRI is essential to maintaining a strong infrastructure system and a stable workforce. I urge the committee to support AB 530 and the continuation of FRI to keep Nevada's infrastructure strong and our workforce employed. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. I'm honored to be in attendance. My name is Eric Reimchisel, E-R-I-C-R-E-I-M-S-C-H-I-I-S-S-E-L, American Pavement Preservation, a Nevada company with a focus and commitment on keeping Nevada communities and roads in great condition through timely preservation and maintenance. We need to keep our roads in good shape through preservation, the same thought process of taking care of your car or any other valuable asset. I'm here in support of AB 530. Fuel revenue indexing is a fair way of providing funding from the user of the pavement assets we have to keep these pavement assets in good condition. Fuel revenue index provides stable, predictable funding that allows us and public agencies to do what we know is necessary to prevent the degradation of our pavement assets. Fuel revenue indexing allows Public Works to plan ahead, keeping our pavements in a good condition in a timely manner and not simply kicking the can down the road, creating the need for more funding with increased inflation and increased higher costs in the future that are going to be there. It's unknown where the funding will come from without this bill passing. Fuel revenue index keeps our workers employed and continues improving our roads, the pavement surfaces our communities, and the traveling public depends on every day. Please support AB 530, as this is simply the right thing to do for every road and street user's benefit. A proper use of focused funding. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Watts, Vice Chair Carter, and committee members. Dawn Christensen with the Nevada Resort Association, DAWN-CHRISTENSEN. We're here in support. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Cameron C.H. Miller here. On behalf of the Urban Chamber of Commerce, just want to express our enthusiastic support for this initiative It is important, it's vitally important that we have stability in our growth for our infrastructure as we grow our community so that our businesses can thrive, so that customers can get to their businesses, so that our employees can get to their businesses, and so that our business community and our economic development is strong overall. Thank you, support this, and hey, good job, growth and infrastructure. Appreciate y'all. Miss you.
My name is David Demore. I'm the Executive Director of the Lindsay Institute in Brookings Mountain West, two donor-funded public policy centers at UNLV. I'm here in support of Assembly Bill 530. Our centers have done extensive work on economic development in Southern Nevada. Safe and efficient transportation is the lifeblood of our regional economy. AB 530 offers a sustainable plan to fund safe, efficient roadways to support economic development in the face of continued population growth and an expected 80% increase in the intra-county movement of goods and freight between now and 2050. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more support testimony from down south? Then AVH, do we have anybody on the line in support?
Testify in support for Assembly Bill 530. Please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Again, if you wish to testify in support, please press star 9. Caller with the last 3 digits 759, please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. This is Brian Knudsen. I'm a councilman in the city of Las Vegas, and I serve on the Regional Transportation Commission Board. Today, I'm representing the city of Las Vegas. The FRI funding is desperately needed and essential to how I serve my constituents, which are jointly your constituents. The need to fix potholes, stop signs, streetlights, make schools and the roads around them safer, all have everything to do with the funding that comes in from FRI, not to mention the 5,000 jobs the city of Las Vegas has created with our funding from FRI. I urge your support and thank you for your time and the decisions you have to make before you.
Hello, my name is Wendy Newman, representing Southern Nevada chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. I just want to say ditto, and we support AB 530.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Matt Cremens here on behalf of the California Nevada Conference of Operating Engineers. Cremens is C-R-E-M-I-N-S for the record. Here today in strong support of AB 530. As has been outlined here today, fuel revenue indexing is a critical component to ensuring that transportation funding is not being eroded due to the increasing cost of completing critical highway and road projects. This funding is needed to ensure the state remains a leader in the nation as it relates to road maintenance, but it is also a critical component of ensuring that the state has a skilled workforce to complete road maintenance for years to come. Projects funded pursuant to the FRI provide high-quality jobs for construction workers and additionally ensure that apprentices are receiving an opportunity to learn a trade and pave their way to the middle class. For these reasons and many more, we would respectfully request your aye vote. Thank you.
Caller with the last 3 digits 621, you are unmuted and you may begin.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the committee. This is Dylan Keith, D-Y-L-A-N-K-E-I-T-H, Senior Manager of Government Affairs with Southwest Gas. I would like to ditto all the callers before me. Thank you so much.
Chair, the public lines are open and working, but we have no more callers choosing to testify in support at this time.
Thank you very much. And due to us stacking up hearings and getting busier, I'm going to grant a little bit of leeway. And I believe we have 3 people that were looking to testify in support that were stuck in another hearing. I will, well, maybe two.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and thank you for the additional time. Paul Moran, acting with the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of AB 530, and it has been in support of fuel revenue indexing since its conception in 2013. Thank you very much for the opportunity today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. Apologies for my tardiness. Walked in and you guys are almost done. No reason to reiterate. We fully support this bill. It's a great bill. It's a jobs and a quality of life matter. And for that, we enthusiastically support it and respectfully request the committee's affirmative vote there too. Thank you so much, Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. And I want to say I really appreciate the organized and efficient manner that testimony just went in. And so let's move to those in opposition here in Carson City.
Good afternoon, committee. Victoria Supple, representing the Western States Petroleum Association. Thank you, Vice Chair. We respectfully oppose AB 530 because it takes a decision that directly impacts working families and small businesses, the extension of fuel tax indexing, and removes it from the hands of voters. Fuel tax indexing means automatic tax increases tied to inflation. That's a decision that we believe should remain with the people. Nevada voters deserve the right to weigh in when it comes to taxes that affect the cost of commuting, goods, and everyday living. Right now, Nevadans are already paying some of the highest gas prices in the region. Extending indexing without a public vote strips away accountability and transparency at a time when every extra dollar matters for our communities. We understand the need to fund infrastructure, but changing the process to bypass voters sets a troubling precedent. If indexing is justified, then take it back to the ballot and make that case. For those reasons, we urge you to vote no on AB 530. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name is Janine Hansen. I'm the state president of Nevada Families for Freedom. I was interested to listen to the presentation and all of the testimony. I didn't hear one word about what this bill really does. It doesn't stop funding for these important projects in Clark County. What it does is take away the right of the people to vote. They were promised 10 years ago that they would have the opportunity to vote on this again. Last session, the same bill was in AB 359, which the governor vetoed, and he said he was concerned about it because it circumvented an affirmative vote of the people, and it concerned him. It impacts every household budget every day and is most appropriately rendered by the voters. I think it's too bad that we are afraid of a vote by the people. You have a wonderful presentation here today about why this is necessary. If that was shared with the voters, I suspect they'd probably be willing to vote for it. But are we afraid of a vote by the people? Do we believe in democracy? I think it's very important that we have the vote of the people and not just turn this over to the county commission. And there should have been information on that when the bill was presented. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair.
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and committee. My name is Lynn Chapman, and I'm the state treasurer of the Independent American Party. And we too are very concerned about the vote of the people. 10 years ago, they were promised and given this beautiful rug. It's beautiful, it's clean, it's new, and 10 years later, that rug's been pulled out from under them, and that's the wrong way to treat the voters. Just like Janine Hansen just said, if you present to the people what you have in mind to do, they possibly will be voting for it. So because of the taking away the vote of the people, that's the wrong thing to do, and so that's why we are in opposition of this bill. Thank you.
Wiz Rizard, Deputy State Director with Americans for Prosperity. That's spelled W-I-Z-R-O-U-Z-A-R-D. You know, in the effort of time here, because it's been quite a long presentation, I really reaffirm kind of what was shared here today. The outcomes that you're seeing in the presentations is not what the bill is about. The bill is simply about we the people. And as they shared here 10 years ago, it was established that they would have a right to have a voice on this type of matter. And I think if we took this presentation to every door, overwhelmingly, I think Nevadans would support it. But to pass this bill and circumvent the right of the people to actually put their best foot forward in terms of what they think is best is the wrong way to go. So with American for Prosperity, we support the voice of the people, and so we urge you to oppose Assembly Bill 530. Thank you.
Any more opposition testimony here in Carson City? None appearing. We'll move down to Las Vegas. Opposition, please go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Chair Carter, members of the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. My name is Anahit Baghshetyan. For the record, that is ANAHIT BAGHSHETSYAN, and I'm a research assistant at Nevada Policy. Today, Nevada Policy comes in opposition of AB 530 for all the reasons we heard before me, because it is a tax increase without public input and without the public voice. Under the current law, as Ms. Hanson mentioned earlier, the fuel tax increases are beyond 2026 are supposed to be on the ballot and be in the hands of Clark County voters. But this bill would transfer that vote effectively to a 2/3 majority of the county commission. Just beyond public participation issue, it is simply a tax increase. And Clark County residents are already paying high taxes that they did not necessarily know that they would afford or not. So adding one more into that bucket is definitely going to overwhelm families that depend on fuel every single day for commute. So lastly, this is the two very big reasons, because we should ensure public participation and public voice in the matters that come out of their pockets and their rights. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Is there any more opposition testimony down south? None appearing. AVH, do we have any opposition testimony on the lines?
To testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 530, please press *9 to take your place in the queue. Again, if you wish to testify in opposition, please press *9.
Hi, Yolanda Knack, Yolanda, last name Knaak. I'm calling in opposition, and basically ditto. We need to continue having a vote of the people, not an automatic tax. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Cyrus Hojjati, Hojjaty. I will ditto the previous callers. I really don't want any more burdens on everyday Nevadans. This is a regressive tax. Nevada's prime attraction is the low tax climate. While we appreciate infrastructure is being funded, but many people like myself who are cab drivers are going to bear the burden. The fact is that we need to address why Nevada's gas prices are among the highest in the country, among the 4th and 5th highest. Part of it is gas taxes, but the other reason is because our gasoline supplies mainly come from California. Their standards, their refinery outages, and so forth. It is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, I'm calling you from Tucson, and gas is under $3 a gallon because their sources are considerably different. The real problem that we have right now is our growth policies that we've done for decades, and it's still ongoing.
Sir, could you
very
please stay on
costly and
topic for the
inefficient.
bill?
Well, yeah, arterial routes are costly and inefficient. That's what's causing a lot of the costs and all the deficits we need to repair. Is this on topic? Is it? Yeah, Blue Diamond, Craig, Rainbow, these are all costly, inefficient modes of transportation. We have to stop building them. This is why we're revenue starved. This has to be up to the vote for the people. So we urge you to vote no. And for heaven's sake, explore getting gas from other means that would have a lower burden on consumers. Thank you so much.
Chair, the public lines are open and working. We have no more callers for opposition.
Thank you. Now we'll move into neutral testimony. Anybody to testify in neutral here in Carson City?
Good afternoon, Vice Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Miranda Hoover with 3C House, representing the Energy and Convenience Association of Nevada, here today to provide neutral testimony on AB 530 and give some information to the committee, especially some of the newer members, about FRI, Fuel Revenue Indexing. So as of the latest numbers pulled on April 1st, 2025, specific to Clark County, the federal tax on it was 0.184. State taxes were 0.23 cents. County was 0.10, and indexing was 0.23. Other costs include a 0.014 cent, which is a petroleum cleanup, other specs, and other federal oil spill liability dollars. And the total for that is 0.758 cents per gallon. I've also included, which will be up on Nellis hopefully shortly, a complete comparison of every county in the state so that you can compare and contrast what all of those individual line items look like. So the index rate is adjusted on July 1st of each year. For the last few years, the rate has increased by approximately 2 cents. The rate may be higher or lower based on inflation of the producer price index. Currently, Clark County has 6 fuel tax indexing bonds outstanding, totaling $801 million. Each of these bonds has a 20-year term, meaning the latest bond, which was issued in 2024, is set to expire in 2044. There are 9 Nevada gas stations adjacent to the Arizona border, 3 in Laughlin, 3 in Boulder City, and 3 in Mesquite. Each of these stations have gas prices that are at least 31 cents per gallon higher than stations in Arizona. This price inequity does create economic hardship for local businesses in Nevada. If this bill passes, indexing will continue for the next 10 years, and the index tax rate will continue to increase. Should this bill fail, the index tax will continue but will not increase. I hope that this is helpful to any of you that didn't quite know about fuel revenue indexing, and of course, happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Any more testimony in neutral here in Carson City? Anybody in neutral in Las Vegas? AVH, anybody on the line in neutral?
To testify in neutral to Assembly Bill 530, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers for neutral.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody's cooperation on public testimony. And now we'll invite the sponsor up for closing comments.
Thank you, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Again, Howard Watts for the record. Appreciate your time and consideration and everyone's remarks today, and did just want to provide some additional clarification. First of all, Ms. Hanson, Ms. Chapman, and I were on a roll in terms of having being on the same page on some bills, but it had to come to an end eventually. So, there was a lot that was brought up about. There was a similar bill that was introduced and passed by this body last legislative session that was vetoed by the governor. And there were some references made to those remarks. And there were also calls to ensure that a vote of the people that was promised on fuel revenue indexing would continue. And those concerns were heard and were reflected in the bill that's before you now. Instead of just allowing the Clark County Commission to extend and manage fuel revenue indexing on their own, what this does is authorize the county commission by a 2/3 vote to extend the period of collection by up to 10 years to what would be 2036. At that point, a vote of the people would have to occur in order for fuel revenue indexing to continue. One of the things that we discussed last time is that both requiring that high threshold of support from the county commission, who's elected across the entirety of Clark County, as well as the fact that that those folks would have to come up for reelection themselves. At that time, there was going to be at least one election before the timeline would expire, would definitely maintain a connection between the voters having a say on these decisions. I think now we've actually strengthened that. So not only can voters hold the county commission accountable to whatever actions they choose to take on this measure, but voters will ultimately have the final say on this as well in the year 2036 under the provisions of that bill, of this bill. So I just wanted to make sure that it was clear for the record that a final vote of the people has been maintained, that adjustments were made based on the experience and feedback that was provided coming out of the last legislative session, and that we do respect the will of the people while also wanting to make sure that we can continue to provide this critical source of revenue for transportation infrastructure in our state. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Watts. And with that, I will close the hearing on AB 30 and take a brief recess for Chair Watts to make it back up on the dais.
Okay, thank you. The committee will come back to order. We'll now move on to the next item. So I will open the hearing on Assembly Bill 527, which authorizes the installation and use of school bus infraction detection systems on school buses. We'll welcome Assemblymember Brown May and her co-presenters. As soon as you're ready, just remember to state your name for the record and you can begin.
Thank you, Chair Watts, Vice Chair Carter, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Tracy Brown May. I'm proud to represent Nevada Assembly District 42 in the heart of Clark County. I am joined today by two outstanding people who have done lots and lots of work. To my left is Steve Randazzo. He is the Chief Growth Officer with Bus Patrol. And to my right is Sasha Sutcliffe Stevenson, who is the President with Triple S Public Affairs. The bill before you for your consideration is an interim Growth and Infrastructure Committee bill. So this is an item that we continue to talk about, road safety and vulnerable road users. And I am honored to be able to sit here today to present this very important measure along with my colleagues. One of the tasks for the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure is an appointment to a group called NVACS, which is the Nevada Advisory Committee on Traffic Safety. I am honored to represent this committee that we sit on as a member of that working group and committee that meets throughout the year. NVACS looks at road fatalities, road users, vulnerable road users, safety initiatives, and how do we improve life in construct with our roads. So traffic safety and vulnerable road user protections have been a focus for me personally for many, many years. As many of you know, I have spent the last 2 decades as a disability advocate, and the folks that I serve in my day job typically don't drive. They are either a passenger, a pedestrian, or are on the roadways using mobility devices. I personally am a cyclist, so I experience what our roads are like every day. Clark County has thousands of students that are utilizing school buses to get to and from school each day. I have recently learned that Clark County has 2,000 school buses that are in operation daily. The data shows that there are more violations in this area than we ever anticipated. School bus stop arm cameras are the provision that we're considering here today, and we believe that they will help to correct many of the issues that we're facing. So I'm happy to introduce you now to Mr. Steve Randazzo, who is here to discuss how this works and the data that supports it.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Randazzo, Chief Growth Officer of Bus Patrol America. It's a privilege to be here in front of everyone today. I'm here to discuss a really important child safety issue. I want to thank the sponsor for her tremendous leadership. What we did over the past few months was we partnered with several school districts in Nevada to conduct a pilot program to more or less count how many illegal passings of the school bus were occurring on buses each day. And the numbers were nothing short of staggering. My company is just one of the many providers in this space. We support programs across 35,000 school buses across 20 states. Our systems have been deployed in communities such as Miami, New York City, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and many others. Quite frankly, I never saw as many violations in Clark County than I have seen in any other state, in any other community in the United States. Across 30 buses, across a representative sample of communities all across Clark County, we observed over 6 violations occurring across every bus each day. Up north, we also were with the Carson City School District, and we observed over 1 violation per bus per day. Just to get a representative sample of what was going on in the north and the south. The way the camera systems work, by the way, in cooperation with the school districts, law enforcement, and the provider, is companies like Bus Patrol, we're kind of just like the cameramen or camera women. What we do is we outfit the school buses with the school bus infraction detection systems. And the camera systems detect illegal passings of the school bus by cars. They snap a picture of the license plate and of the car passing the bus. And then that video evidence is screened, but then ultimately transmitted to law enforcement for review. So just to be really clear, I know that there are just conversations about traffic camera enforcement. The cameras do not write the tickets. All of the videos must be sent to a certified peace officer with law enforcement training to make that independent decision about whether to issue a citation. Be happy to answer any other questions that the committee has with respect to the operation of this program. Thank you.
Want to hit the video?
Oh, I should have pressed this earlier. While Sasha speaks, please take a look at the video. These are just some of the violations that we observed in Clark County, Carson City, and then the last 30 seconds are just a random sample of videos that we've observed around the nation.
No, why don't you point out what they're looking at, right? Tracy Brown May for the record. So while you're looking at this video, you can see that there's a school bus stop arm that's out and the vehicles that are passing. The passengers and everyone that's identifying information at this point has been blurred out so that you can see what a school bus stop arm camera picks up. There is more detail so that you can get a snapshot of what the license plate is. And then as Mr. Randazzo said, that information is then sent to the partner agency for evaluation that they would then issue the citation. So in Clark County, it would be the Clark County School Police, not Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Just want to be really clear that we're working on school buses and what their school bus routes are. So this is actual footage that has been taken that, as you can see here in Carson City, as well as in Clark County.
Sasha Sutcliffe-Stevenson for the record. While you guys are watching the video, I'll just walk quickly through the different sections of the bill. Sections 1 and 2 provide that a violation detected by a school bus infraction detection systems, what I will now call a detection system, moving forward will not be a moving violation. I would note also that a driver issued a citation by a law enforcement officer who has identified the driver would remain a moving violation. Sections 1 and 4 through 6 of this bill exclude traffic violations identified by a detection system from the assessment of demerit points and provide for the issuance of civil infraction citations for violations detected by a detection system. Sections 2 and 3 of this bill provide permissive language authorizing any school district in the state to install itself or to enter into a contractual agreement with a third-party vendor to install a detection system to enforce existing provisions of law. Requires a peace officer with jurisdiction over the location in which the school bus equipped with such a detection system operates to review the evidence of such a violation before a civil citation is issued, and creates a rebuttable presumption that the driver of the vehicle at the time of the violation detected by the detection system is the registered owner of the vehicle, and provides a method for rebutting this presumption. The conceptual amendment that's been posted to Nellis adds section 2 amends section 2 subsection 2 to require a public service announcement and public awareness campaign in the school district at least 30 days before commencing enforcement of a newly installed detection system. Amends section 2 subsection 3 to specify that the traffic enforcement agency or its designee must send the citation by first-class mail. Provides guidance related to evidence admissible in judicial hearings. Amends section 2 subsection 5 to add protections around recorded images. Amend section 2 subsection 8B to read that the citation and violation is punishable by administrative fine in an amount set by the local authority, but not less than the monetary fine structure currently prescribed in statute. Further amend section 2 subsection 9 to read that a school bus detection system means an electronic or digital system which produces a photograph or other recorded image, and adds that recorded images shall include the activation of a school bus stop arm and an electronic indicator indicating activation of flashing red light signals of the school bus. Amends section 2 to add subsection 10 related to the collection, dissemination, and permissible use of revenue collected from this program. And amends section 5 to add subsection 8 to spell out that photographs and other recorded images produced by a school bus infraction detection system shall be prima facie evidence of a violation and shall be admissible at any hearing for a citation without further authentication, and adds that there should be a rebuttable presumption at the time such violation was recorded. It also proposes adding another section to amend NRS 44A.703 to add that except for a citation issued for a violation detected by a school bus infraction detection system pursuant to section 2 of this act.
Thank you. That's the bill language. Tracy Brown May for the record. You should also have additional background information which identifies the results from the pilot program, which were really astounding. Estimated violations per day, per weekday on each of the bus routes. That I don't know if you've gone through a lot of that data, but it is there. We are happy to answer questions and to talk this through.
All right, thank you very much for that presentation. And yes, we did get that information, and I was definitely shocked as the worst violating area is a block away from my house. So, members, any questions? Assemblymember Urick.
Thank you, Chair, and thanks for coming and talking to me in advance as well. And the data that you shared is significant, right? I mean, it shows that this is obviously a problem. But I obviously want to address, right, the policy considerations that we're trying to balance here, that I think we're all aware of, not only with this bill, with the other electronic camera traffic enforcement programs. So I've actually gone and I've tried to do some of my own research, right, to figure out the effectiveness of these programs. Okay, so we've recognized there is a problem, but do these programs actually correct the program or the underlying issue that we're trying to address? And not surprisingly, I've found data all over this issue. Some say that they're very effective, some say that they're not. And I did take a graduate level statistics course, so that's why I said it doesn't surprise me at all. But as I approach these bills, and this one in particular, and I think I did mention it to you when you came and spoke to me before this hearing, but I'm asking all the presenters that on hearings that I get to hear on this, is to whether or not they would consider implementing the program as a pilot project, right? And then gather the data so that we can then come back and not just see that there was a problem, but did its implementation as proposed here in this bill and on these programs in Nevada, does it actually address the problem? And would you consider doing that? Because I feel like I could get more behind it, because then we'd have the data that we need to determine a long-term implementation.
Tracy Brown May for the record. Thank you for that very thoughtful question. I appreciate that, the opportunity to respond to that. For us, this is enabling language for any school district to be able to decide whether or not it was appropriate for them. We don't have the opportunity, because of NRS restrictions, for a school district to even consider this as an option. And so what we're trying to do is create enabling language so that school districts can assess, is this something that they want to do, that they believe would be useful there? So for us, it wouldn't be us considering a pilot program because we're not deploying the program. We're simply trying to create enabling language to allow a school district to consider creating a pilot program, which is why we ran the pilot program that we did, in order to come here with the data to support the understanding that there are thousands of violations that are happening in each of our neighborhoods every day. We know it's there. We know the work that NVAX is doing identifies the number of traffic violations that we're having. For us, this focus is about students and youth that are on school buses. So we know it's the most vulnerable that we have in our population currently, and so it's really just enabling language. I don't know that a pilot program would be appropriate for this particular language because we're not planning to execute the program in its entirety. I'm happy to consider further in the future.
I really appreciate that answer. So can you just help me clarify, if a district decides, yes, we do want to do this, will there be a data gathering program that they will give back to us or ever come back as we consider, again, not addressing the issue of is there a problem of people running past these buses, but to gauge the effectiveness of this program for maybe a broader implementation?
Tracy Brown Ray, for the record, that is a phenomenal recommendation and absolutely appreciate that. We could certainly add that in as our expectation for any school district that chooses to deploy this technology. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thank you. Members, any additional questions? Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you, Chair. As a mother of two boys, I appreciate that you guys are bringing this bill forward. We all need to slow down around school buses. I do have a question, though, exactly how this would work, because so it seems like a peace officer will review this. We have human, oversight on that, so I appreciate that. And then a ticket will be issued, and then the money will then get paid to whom exactly?
Steve Randazzo, for the record. Did I do that right? So the way these programs usually work is that, and it's a little bit different from state to state. This is actually legal, by the way, in 29 other states to date. It's been recommended by the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board after a series of tragedies that have occurred, unfortunately. But the way the legislation is designed is to give school districts just the permissive choice to see whether they want to do this or not, and then they would have to enter into an MOU with one or more law enforcement agencies to perform the enforcement responsibilities. The way the conceptual amendment reads is that the school district would receive the citation revenue, but then they would be able to have very limited sort of parameters for how they could spend the funds. Could be used to fund the program. It could be used for other student transportation safety related initiatives. And the nice thing about that is that it can become what we call a violator funded program. So Bus Patrol is just one vendor, again, in the space, probably about 6, 7, or 8 vendors in the space nationwide that really do this at scale. But the way we operate our programs is that we offer to fund the equipment at Bus Patrol's expense. So there is a world in a future state where taxpayers, the school district budget does not have to fund the program. We fund all of the capital and the installation costs and administer the program at our expense, and then the school district can use a portion of the funds that come in to reimburse us over time for the ongoing expenses for the program.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll just ask a follow-up on that. So when you talk about potentially also supporting additional kind of school transportation initiatives, for example, helping support additional crossing guards at schools, would that be one of the examples that you'd think of how additional revenue could be allocated?
Steve Randazzo for the record. Just to be clear, I'm not the policymaker, so that's ultimately up to all the folks here. But yeah, I mean, that's just in my experience, other states put parameters around the way the schools can use the money. Crossing guards, I've seen other safety technology, crosswalks, other school bus technology. So anything relating to reinvesting in student safety and student transportation safety is what I see across the country most often.
Thank you. Members, additional questions? Assemblymember Backus.
Thank you so much, Chair. And my question's pretty easy. It just, you said something that made me think about just the cost associated with the hardware. As I understood your company, for example, I know there's 8 to 9 other companies out there in the US, but they install the equipment at no charge, but run the citation program, let's say, if, I don't know if citation's the right word, but if there's a time that it's not working out, I would hope my drivers in Southern Nevada all of a sudden become really good drivers, but the exemplars don't really reflect that. But if it did and it was no longer used, does the hardware, when it's attached to the buses, pierce the metal? Does it do permanent damage to the vehicles?
Steve Randazzo for the record. Great question. So again, there are multiple models, and this legislation would enable many choices for school districts to consider. One, they could purchase the systems and more or less support more of a do-it-yourself in-house program. Sometimes a local school district and community and law enforcement agencies get together and they feel like that's the best way to run the local program. Other times, school districts may not have the budget or just the internal resources to watch video all day, so they partner with a private provider. So I can't speak for how all the other providers do it, but I can tell you what Bus Patrol does. What we do is, in all of our contracts, we provide provisions for our crews to come in and do the very complex install work. But then if the program it ceases to exist or terminates, it's actually, knock on wood, it's never happened in our history since 2017, but if it does, our promise to communities is that we make the bus to a like new state. So that's all typically smoothed out with the transportation team at the school district, and they get a look for our installation procedures, our maintenance procedures, and that gives districts a lot of comfort that in the event this program, if they don't want to do it anymore, or if the violations go down to a negligible point, or by the way, if that school bus goes to its end of life, sometimes the school bus is around for 10 or 15 years and the school bus goes and gets auctioned or sold somewhere, it's always Bus Patrol's obligation to remove that equipment and plug up the holes so that the bus is more or less like new.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much for the presentation. We'll now move to testimony in support of Assembly Bill 527. If anyone would like to provide testimony in support, either in Carson City or Las Vegas, please come forward. Please proceed whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair. Jason Woodard, JASON, Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs Association. Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs Association is in support of AB 527. During my time at the Sparks Police Department, I had the fortunate blessing to supervise our traffic division. And one of the things that we used to do is targeted operations to essentially address these issues. And the problem with that is that we would only be able to address a couple of different schools. Primarily, the squeaky wheel gets the grease in this scenario. So the schools that would call and complain or parents who would call and complain. And in these operations, what we have to do is put a plainclothes officer on the bus who has to witness or observe the violation and then send some officers after the vehicle so that they can issue that citation. Now, the bus drivers love it because it's the quietest ride they've ever experienced over the course of the school semester. However, it is very taxing on personnel. And what we see this program is doing is giving school districts the opportunity to expand that capability to essentially enforce every school equally in order to try and reduce what is potentially some very serious and fatal accidents. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Mary Przinski, here representing Nevada Association of School Superintendents, and we are in support of this bill. The safety of our children is incredibly important to us, and you saw the video where some children were almost hit while somebody swing past the bus. So we're in support of this, and the other thing we like, it's local control. School districts can do it if they want to do it, but it's not mandated that they get out there and spend the money on it and do it if they don't think it's necessary. So we like the local control aspect of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Mike Cathcart representing the City of Henderson. Traffic safety is a top concern in Henderson as well as all over Southern Nevada, and any effort to keep school children safe is a welcome addition to our community. So we're in full support of 527. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Brad Keating for the record, representing the Clark County School District. You've heard it today in testimony and support. Assembly Bill 527 is essential moving forward. The numbers and statistics that you've seen from the Clark County School District over the last 100 days are staggering. It is so important as we try to teach our parents and our families and our students about safe routes to schools, how to be careful as they drive, how to be careful as they walk. And a bill like this helps ensure that all of our students are safe every single day. So we appreciate this bill being brought forward, and we truly look forward to, in Clark County, seeing the day where these video cameras are installed on every one of our buses. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else coming forward in Carson City or down in Las Vegas, AVH, does anyone wish to provide testimony in support of AB 527 by phone?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but we have no callers.
We'll now move to testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 527. If anyone would like to provide testimony in opposition in person, seeing no one coming forward, AVH, can we please check the phone line?
There are still no callers for opposition testimony.
All right, thank you very much. And now we'll move to testimony in neutral on Assembly Bill 527. And again, seeing no one coming forward, AVH, has anyone called in?
We have no neutral callers.
All right. I'll now invite the presenters up if they want to make any closing remarks.
Thank you. Tracy Brown May for the record. I just want to thank the committee for the opportunity to carry this bill on behalf of Growth and Infrastructure as an interim committee. It really has been my honor to work on road safety and focus on the safety of our students. We urge your support for this wonderful measure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with that, I will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 527. And the committee will be in a very brief recess. Oh, never mind. Committee will come back to order. And we'll open the hearing on Assembly Joint Resolution 13, which urges the federal government to maintain the moratorium on the testing of explosive nuclear weapons. Welcome to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, Assemblymember Dahlia. Whenever you and your team are ready, please proceed.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chair Watson, Vice Chair Carter, members of this esteemed committee. Assemblymember Joe Daly for the record, Joedalia, representing Assembly District 29 in Henderson. I'm here to proudly present Assembly Joint Resolution 13, here today urging the federal government to maintain its moratorium on the explosive testing of nuclear weapons outside of Clark County. The intent of this bill is simple: keeping our families and our kids safe from the dangers of active explosive nuclear testing. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand those dangers, but we brought one just in case. And as you'll hear from him, there is a well-documented body of evidence about the health hazards and environmental damage that result from testing these warheads. This is a bipartisan and common sense measure, and I urge your support. With that, I will turn this over to my colleague across the aisle, Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you. I'm Danielle Gallant, the Assemblywoman for District 23 for the record. I'll make this short and say ditto to the comments of Assemblymember Dahlia. But I also want to say, as a resident of Boulder City and a representative of one of the third largest districts in Southern Nevada, I have concerns about the impacts to our community if we start below ground nuclear testing. More than 900 nuclear detonations conducted before 1992 have left a lasting impact on Nevadan residents, land, and water, with consequences that continue to shape the region today. Since then, the United States has utilized cutting-edge scientific and technological advancements to ensure the safety, security, and reliability of these weapons. We do not need to go back to the old ways of doing things. Protecting Nevada residents is a partisan issue, and I thanks Assemblymember Dahlia for asking me to join him today in support of AJR 13.
Thank you. My name is Dylan Spalding, and I'm a senior scientist in the Global Security Program at the Union of Concerned Scientists. And I'm an expert in the materials science and physics related to the design and stewardship of nuclear weapons. I've worked in all three of the U.S. National Defense Labs, Livermore, Los Alamos, and Sandia, and I'm here to speak in support of AJR 13. I can confidently attest that resumption of underground explosive nuclear testing by the United States is scientifically unnecessary and would be strategically damaging to U.S. security and could pose unnecessary risks to workers and members of the public in Nevada. If the federal government were to resume explosive nuclear weapons testing, as some in Washington, D.C. are now advocating, it would occur at the Nevada National Security Site, just 65 miles northwest of Las Vegas, where, as we've just heard, 928 explosive nuclear tests were conducted before being halted by a federal moratorium in 1992. The U.S. National Laboratories, along with the Nevada National Security Site, maintain scientific capabilities that are far superior to what were available during the era of full-scale nuclear explosive tests. Today, non-nuclear laboratory experiments can attain conditions comparable to those achieved in a nuclear weapon, and can do so in a far more refined and precise manner without threatening or violating international norms or potentially endangering the environment and populations of surrounding areas. These experimental and computational tools allow exquisite understanding of the underlying science, which explosive nuclear tests cannot. The directors of the national laboratories and the National Nuclear Security Administration, who are responsible for overseeing the U.S. nuclear arsenal, have in fact confidently relied on these tools for 30 years now to annually certify the safety, security, and reliability of the stockpile. Those same administrators have publicly stated that a return to testing is unnecessary and undesirable. No country other than North Korea has conducted explosive nuclear tests in this century. The United States currently maintains a relative technical advantage with regard to testing, having amassed more nuclear testing data than any other nation, including Russia. To resume nuclear testing would only open the door for nations with less testing expertise and less sophisticated nuclear stockpiles to conduct their own explosive nuclear tests and to close that gap, which would be to the detriment of the United States and shatter the global moratorium on testing that the United States in fact helped usher in. And finally, even underground explosive nuclear tests are inherently dangerous and polluting. Test sites are not remediated or cleaned up after the fact, which leaves radioactive contamination in the ground. And more than 32 past underground tests conducted at the Nevada National Security Site accidentally breached their confinement, venting radioactivity to the atmosphere, where it potentially put Nevadans at risk. A test conducted rapidly as a demonstrative show of force, as some in Washington have suggested, may be more likely to circumvent necessary environmental and site surveys that could ensure such accidents don't occur again. So in closing, there is no scientific or military necessity to return to testing to maintain the safety, security, and reliability of the U.S. nuclear stockpile. Doing so would only introduce risk to the region, open the door for further testing by potential adversaries, and damage U.S. credibility for future arms control agreements. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. Maybe 9 months or so ago, I would have wondered why this was necessary, but here we are, it's 2025. So, members, any questions? We'll start with Assemblymember Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks for bringing this bill, but my question kind of goes along with what you just said. What is happening You know, since we have not done this for like 30 years, is something happening that is going to cause us to do this again?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the question. Is it okay if I go direct? Please do. Thank you. Assemblymember Daly, for the record. We're just trying to get ahead of this. I don't think this is a thing that's being actively considered, but this is something we'd like to get on the record that we as a state don't want this before it gets suggested by someone out of state, because I don't know that folks in other states are all that interested in whether Nevada has this going on or not.
Okay, thank you. I just wondered if we had to like review what we used to learn in school and go under our desks and all that. Thank you.
They bring testing.
Thank you. Members, additional questions? Assemblymember Backus.
Thank you so much, Chair. And I want to thank you guys for bringing, or I think it's a committee bill, for bringing this. This is very personal to me. Most people don't know what my mom actually came to the state of Nevada with her dad, who came out to the Nevada test site. And actually he was a carpenter, a member of the union, and was working out at the test site and was exposed to excessive amounts of radiation. And it ultimately ended up causing cancer to him and numerous of his friends. And so this is very dangerous. And in my office, and I welcome anyone to come up, I have photos from the old above ground testing and a photo of my grandfather standing right next to a warning sign in a little cave because he was out there measuring radiation. And so it's really important to address this because you just don't know. We always talk about Yucca Mountain getting reopened and other testing that may going on. So I just wanted to say thank you and bring more of a personal perspective to this, including we think my grandmother also was exposed to radiation through just doing his laundry on the weekends when he came home. Both died at a very young age, and it's weird because as I'm nearing their age, my grandfather died at 62 and my Nana died at 70. So thank you for bringing this.
Thank you. Last chance for questions. Seeing none. Thank you all for your presentation. We'll now move to testimony in support of Assembly Joint Resolution number 13. Anyone wishing to provide support in Carson City or Las Vegas, please come forward. We will begin here. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Christy Cabrera-Georgeson. I'm the Deputy Director of the Nevada Conservation League. We are here in support of SJR 13. Nuclear testing poses significant risks to Nevada's air, land, water, and public health. Radioactive material from previous nuclear testing is still present in Nevada's groundwater, and further testing could contaminate our environment even more. As the driest state in the country, Nevada's water resources must be protected, not put in greater danger. Nuclear testing is too risky for our state. We urge the committee's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Olivia Tanager, Director of the Sierra Club Toyabe chapter. For the record, we are also here in strong support of HAR 13, and we thank folks for bringing it forward this session. What Ms. Cabrera-Georgeson just said really resonates with a lot of Nevadans. Nevada is a very special place, and we're very sensitive to the fact that a lot of folks from out of state think that it is indeed a wasteland, somewhere that folks can bomb and it won't have any impacts. But we know that we have some of the most biodiverse places in the country here in Nevada. We also know that with the history of the Nevada test site, there were a lot of community members, particularly community members of color, who were poached to go work there and who were indeed exposed to radiation and since have developed health issues, including numerous records of folks who have been exposed and now have cancer. So we appreciate your strong support of this bill, and thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Watts and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Trevor Parrish with the Vegas Chamber. The Chamber is in support of AJR 13 as we have a decades-long history of opposition to nuclear testing and waste storage at Yucca Mountain. If the long-standing federal moratorium on nuclear testing in Nevada were to be lifted, it would have a tremendous amount of implications to our state, including severe economic and environmental harm. With all the potential impacts listed within AJR 13, the Nevada community has made it clear that nuclear testing and nuclear waste have no place in our state. The Chamber would like to thank the bill sponsor for bringing this forward, and we urge the committee to pass AJR 13. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Watts, Vice Chair Carter, and members of the committee. My name is Drianna Dimatulak. That's Drianna Dimatulac. I'm with Brownstein, representing the Latin Chamber of Commerce, in strong support of AJR 13. The resumption of nuclear weapon testing will have devastating consequences for the 2.3 million residents of Clark County. It would release radioactive material into our air, contaminate critical groundwater, trigger seismic activity in Las Vegas, and create widespread fear among both residents and tourists. These risks pose not only a serious threat to public health and safety, but also to Nevada's economic stability and growth. By continuing the existing moratorium on nuclear testing, AJR 13 helps protect our environment, our economy, and our residents of Nevada. For these reasons, the Latin Chamber of Commerce respectfully urges your support for AJR 13. Thank you.
Hello, members of the committee. Ashley Kennedy representing Clark County. I don't think I can add anything else that has already been said, so I will diddle to the comments ahead of me, and Clark County is in support of AJR 13. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing nobody else coming forward in Carson City, we'll now move down to Las Vegas.
Good afternoon, Chair Watts, Vice Chair Carter, and committee members, Dawn Christensen with the Nevada Resort Association. I'll echo the comments from our colleagues over at the Vegas Chamber, and we are in support of the resolution. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else coming forward in Las Vegas, AVH, would anyone like to provide testimony in support of Assembly Joint Resolution 13 by phone?
Chair, the public lines are open and working, but we have no callers to testify in support at this time.
Thank you. We'll now move to testimony in opposition of AJR 13. Seeing nobody coming forward, AVH, can we please check the phones once again?
Chair, we have no callers for opposition.
And finally, we will proceed to neutral testimony on AJR 13. Seeing nobody coming forward, AVH, can we check once more?
Chair, we have no callers for neutral.
Okay, thank you very much. Would the presenters like to make any closing remarks? Okay, waved off. Appreciate it. With that, we will now close the hearing on Assembly Joint Resolution number 13. And we will move on to the last item on our agenda for today, which is public comment. If anyone would like to provide public comment, either here in Carson City or down in Las Vegas, please come forward. Seeing nobody at this time, AVH, can we check the phone lines for public comment?
Chair, the public lines are open and working, but we have no callers for public comment at this time.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes our business for today. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, April 8th. We are adjourned.